Good morning, everybody. It is 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We're off to a pretty good start with your weather and really your traffic. You know, nothing unusual there. And really, that kind of means we're in good shape. Right, Chris?
Absolutely.
Maybe so.
Yeah, no, we're looking good. We have sunshine across the board. Nothing really to mention. I got to bring my computer up, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Sorry, I should have brought you some
You
more
usually
time.
do headlines. I was like, I got all the time in the world.
Well, we're working on headlines.
No, that's fine. Well, the headline is it's going to be sunny and dry. Just like yesterday, we're warming up a little bit overall, and we're on weather too. It's going to be a similar day to yesterday. Yesterday we started off at 54. This morning we dropped down to 55. Already starting to crank up Mother Nature's thermostat, and you can see 65 is the normal low. 84 is where we should be. We're a little bit close to that. And one thing that people do is where you say, hey, we have a high of 80 degrees, like it's highs in the 80s. No, we're barely going to touch 80 degrees, and I'm talking about less than an hour that you're even going to have that possibility. It's mainly going to be in the mid to the upper 70s. That's not a complaint. There's no problems there. All in all, that's going to be sensational. And we're pretty decently cloudy for the time being. That's also going to change as we work our way through this morning, that cloud cover eventually is going to start to break down. But all in all, it is a really nice day. It's been actually a nice little break all in all over the last few days. And the warmest part of the atmosphere right now across the area is Lowellsville and right over in Anson County. At one point, it was a 12-degree temperature difference compared to just a day ago, and that's because of that thick cloud cover. Cloud cover in the morning is almost like having a blanket on. Whenever you have the clear sky that maximizes our cool down, really not the case right now. And then other cameras across the area checking out Monroe, beautiful blue skies starting to break that cloud cover. Dallas, you're dealing with a lot of those different alto cumulus clouds, what this is called. Sometimes if you're looking from the surface, these can kind of look like fish scales, are also known as a mackerel sky. So we have those out and about. That's all fair weather clouds for the time being. Sometimes they can signal that a system is rolling in, but not this time, not that case and scenario. One thing that I really want to mention, the only big change that we have today besides it getting a little bit warmer are the dew points. So the dew points, you know, I'm a man of the dew. I love this for my forecasting tool because the higher it is, the more uncomfortable you feel. When it's 75 plus, you're talking about the miserable range. Whenever it's down below 50, it just feels really nice and pleasant. We're in the 50s, it still feels okay. It's still comfortable, but we're seeing a lot more of that more sticky air that's going to start to roll in. As you see dew points get to 60 and even some red spots were more of that uncomfortable air. So the further east you go, it is feeling a lot more humid, say around the Wadesboro over to Chirac area, but that area of more humid air eventually is going to head here. So we will start to see the values come up a little bit. I'm splitting hairs here. You're not going to have really a huge difference about how we feel in the near term. And looking at our dew point trend, you can see that these aren't going to be as high as where we just were. Over the weekend, where we had back-to-back days at 89 degrees, it actually felt more like the lower to the mid-90s. We don't have that type of air mass. It was very uncomfortable. Also, you can't give people beautiful fall, comfortable days and then all of a sudden crank it right back to a really humid environment. Instead, we will have some sticky days. We will have some temperatures in the mid-80s. The only day that really stands out that I think is going to start to feel uncomfortable for people is as we're back to around 90 degrees on Monday. So Monday really stands out from all the rest. So here is your 7-day forecast. What we need to know, 0 chances for rain. We're going to avoid even the sprinkles, it looks like. The only ones I think might see a sprinkle is maybe Anson or Richmond County, but truly I think it might just evolve as a darker cloud cover. And we'll not really see another rain chance until later in the forecast around midweek. I have a spotty chance for Wednesday and an isolated chance next Thursday, but not this Wednesday or Thursday, or aka today and tomorrow. Our biggest warm-up is going to be on Sunday and a Monday. That'll be more humid air as well. We have the mid to the upper 80s. But today is a very unique day. September 10th, we went up to, we down to 84 degrees for our average high. But why is today unique? Does anyone know why in the weather world September 10th is a significant day?
I know, but
I do
it's because
know.
I saw it in Teams.
Then say it. You say it.
It's
Go.
peak for hurricane season.
Very good.
right.
It doesn't matter how you got the information. That's almost like
That's
I left
what
an
we
Easter
do.
egg.
At least we know you watch the news.
You watch the news.
Watch
No.
WCNC Charlotte.
I listen and I read emails.
Yep.
You didn't see that?
bing.
That's great.
Yep.
No, because the information was there. It's the peak of hurricane season. So hurricane season officially opens up June 1st till November 30th, but November 10th is the exact top of that graph that I was just showing you. So that's where you have the most activity. It's technically from August 20th to October 10th that you have some of the worst storms. That's where we have had some of the most epic ones, but they can go deep into November and still be dangerous. But that's the time that we always are watching out for the most. But what's interesting about this, and really just take this as a grain of salt, we have no tropical activity over the next 7 days. I do think things are going to change, and this is not unusual. We've actually been doing this on and off over the last 5 years especially, that we have multiple factors that are preventing anything from forming. The 3 things that hurricanes do not like. Number 1, super dry air. Number 2, landfall. Anything over land, it's not going to happen. And number 3 is going to be wind shear. That's a change of wind speed and direction with height. Well, we've had all those kind of working against us. So for one, the tropical intensity, 85% of all hurricanes happen during these 3 months, August, September, October, with September by far leading the pack for all the above. But the main things that have really been preventing our activity, as I was mentioning, is the wind shear and the drier air that's rolled in, and that's Saharan dust is what it's actually called, has been aggressive. So here, let me show you. Oftentimes, it's a wave off of Africa that will cause some of the biggest storms. It takes about 14 days plus to get to the United States. But all of that dry air that you're seeing right around my head here, that isn't allowing anything to develop. So what's happening is that's working into a lot of these low pressure systems. These big monsters of tropical cyclones, tropical storms, hurricanes, whatever the name is, the intensity is, they are almost like the baby bear's porridge. They need to be just right. Things need to stack up. Now, if only one of these works against it, oftentimes it's not even going to form, especially for early development. Once they really turn into big monster category 3s, category 4s, you can have wind shear, not much is really going to weaken it. This is about the development. So watch what's happening for our dust layer. Big plumes happening through the southern Atlantic over the next few days. But it starts to thin out ever so slightly once you get to the middle of next week. So that's bringing us to day 7. After day 7, I'm saying closer to about day 10, that's where I think that we're really going to see a switch. And it happened a little bit earlier, but we're actually ahead of the pace of last year's hurricane season, but in a hurry. It was right around this time, all of a sudden, you had a big lull. There was Debbie, and all of a sudden you had Ernesto that started to pop up, and then I think Francine was next, and quickly things started to ramp up, and of course, one of the more notorious ones to happen at the end was Helene. So until we can start to clear things out, we're not going to have any activity. Now, the factor number 2 that I mentioned was the wind shear. And whenever you have these areas of red, that just cuts into the storm. But we start to see a big area of green that really start to flourish by the end of the weekend east of the Lesser Antilles. It was right in this zone that Aaron quickly went to one of the biggest rapid intensifications from a Category 1 to a Category 5. This zone, with also some of the 6 warmest sea temperatures we've had since 1979, is stacking up to be rapid intensification, quick blossoming storms. So even though we don't have anything on the map for the time being, I truly think that in a week time frame, we potentially could have 2 to 4 investigations and even 2 to 4 named storms starting to pop up by the end of September. So the average September 10th is just a number. That's over decades and decades of storm data, but the atmosphere is changing. That's obvious. So what's often happening is, you have the warming of the sea temperatures, and it changes everything. So really, we've been seeing more of a continued trend. Saw it last year. I think we saw it in 2022 as well, that we've been going a little bit deeper into late September into early October, where technically the instability almost starts to thrive a little bit more, that we've had some of the worst storms. So what's next? Well, we have Gabrielle, then we have Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, and Lorenzo. So I'm always looking at Imelda. All the I names are always notorious for the ones that stand out from all the rest. So that's one that I'm going to be keeping a watchful eye on. But really all of them, especially heading into this time of the season, yeah, you don't know what they all could bring. So this hurricane season, yes, we're at the peak, but yes, we are in a lull. But letting you know, I think out of nowhere, all of a sudden we're talking about nothing to a whole lot of something happening in the Atlantic. So going through our average storm dates compared to last year, already we had Fernan that happened on August 23rd. That was ahead of schedule. But then notice what happened last year. Let me actually take a step back. So on August 3rd, we had Debbie, and then we had Ernesto on the 12th. So everything was pretty much right on brand. Then from the 12th, all the way until September 9th, that's when we had Francine. So we're already ahead of last year, but look at how quickly things ramped up. Gordon then popped up about day after today. So tomorrow is when Gordo popped up last year. So now we're falling behind 2025, but look at the end. Helene, Isaac, and Joyce all popped up within a 3-day time span. And I did a little study on this, and this isn't going to go in the record books. This is just from my own experience. There was one system that was off the Carolina shoreline between the 11th and the 24th that was as close as you could have come to becoming a tropical storm. It was just a coastal low, but if that had become a named storm, the big storm that impacted the Carolinas would have actually been named Isaac. And another thing about Helene that's really interesting is that the Carolinas back in the 1950s, I believe it was 1958, also had a Hurricane Helene that was about 100 miles offshore. It was a Category 4 from becoming a retired storm. The Helene got put on the shelves because there was some renaming. It was in 1979 that officially the National Weather Service and the Meteorological World Organization decided, hey, we shouldn't name all the storms female names because that's not right. Men can be just as destructive.
That's
so
right.
that's why they
Say it
start.
louder.
No kidding.
So that's why they started alternating names. So that's why if you kind of look at a little study here, Fernan, then Gabrielle, Umberto, it alternates between male and female names. Francine, Gordon, Helene, they change between if the odd letters or the even letters are going to be male or female. So this year, of course, Fernan, Gabrielle. So you have the Umbertos to Imelda. They just kind of fluctuate between male and female names. So yeah, Helene actually has impacted the Carolinas twice, just as an outside study. As for me personally, looking at any of these names, I've already mentioned Imelda. H's have also been notorious for us. And then one sneaky name outside of that is the M names, as we've had Matthew before, and then Michael also, the impacts that it had. So it doesn't matter the time of the year. We're now in the sweet spot that once storms start popping, and it will become a very busy map, it's now until pretty much the end of October, anything goes.
Anything goes.
Except for the next
Ooh.
7 days.
Okay. And we'll enjoy the next 7 days for sure. All right. Thanks, Chris.
The ultimate weather break for me. So I'm going on
No,
break.
we don't want a break from you.
No, yeah, this is good. That's why we need to talk about other subjects. I need to come loaded.
Oh,
maybe
gosh.
I'll have some trivia tomorrow to fill in my
Please.
sunny forecast.
That'll be good. Day
Love
before
trivia.
the weekend.
Yeah,
Friday.
I used to do it was called
Trivia
the
Thursday?
WCNC Challenge when I was the weekend morning meteorologist here.
Oh, okay.
And at previous stations, I used to do Fun Fact Friday and Chris's Curious Climate Question. So maybe I'll bring back my trivia days
All
here
right.
on
And
the
it
Impact
is
Studio.
Throwback Thursday.
Ooh, no, it's Wednesday.
Or, well, for tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
If you
Tomorrow.
do
I was going
if
to
you
say,
do
I
the
was
thing
like,
tomorrow.
I have been calling it Wednesday the whole time. I started to
know.
doubt myself.
Time does.
All right,
slip
Throwback
away.
Thursday
All
trivia.
right, peace out. See you then.